What if I told you there's a single universal formula for success? Well, one man, Napoleon Hill, spent 20 years of his life on a quest to find it. Today, we're diving into his legendary book, Think and Grow Rich, to uncover that very formula. Everything, and I mean everything, kicks off with this one powerful concept. Hill argues that everything you see around you, the device you're watching this on, the chair you're sitting in, it all started as just an idea, a simple thought in someone's head. But that's the real question, isn't it? It's one thing to have a great idea, but it's a whole other ballgame to actually make it real. And that's exactly what this is all about. The answer Napoleon Hill dedicated his life to finding. So our story actually begins with one of the wealthiest men in history, the guy who lit the fuse on this whole incredible journey. Picture this. It's a meeting of total opposites. A young, completely unknown reporter, Napoleon Hill, sitting across from the steel tycoon himself, Andrew Carnegie. But the wise old Scotsman saw something, a certain spark in Hill, and decided to throw down a challenge that would change his life forever. And the challenge he laid down? It was epic. Carnegie asked Hill to commit the next 2 decades of his life, and get this, without pay, to research and create a philosophy of achievement that anybody could use. In a moment that literally changed history, Hill said yes. Now, this wasn't some stuffy library research. Oh no. Carnegie opened up his entire network, giving Hill direct access to the titans of the age. We're talking about the inventors, the industrialists, the presidents who were literally building modern America. His findings came straight from the source. So after all that digging, what was the first major principle Hill uncovered? The absolute cornerstone of the whole philosophy. It's something he called a burning desire. And to explain this, Hill tells the incredible story of a guy named Edwin C. Barnes. Now, Barnes had no money, 0 connections, but he had this one all-consuming obsession. He was going to become the business partner of the great Thomas Edison. And this, right here, this shows the difference perfectly. A wish is passive. Barnes didn't just hope to work for Edison. He had a burning desire to work with him. He didn't even know the man, couldn't afford a train ticket, and showed up looking like a tramp. But his determination was so intense that Edison actually gave him a shot. He started at the very bottom, doing odd jobs, but in his mind, he was already Edison's partner, just biding his time. And that moment finally came, years later, with a new invention that even Edison's own salesman thought was a total dud. But because Barnes was so laser-focused on his goal, he saw an opportunity where everyone else saw failure. He knew he could sell it, and boy, did he sell it. He sold it so well that he earned a national contract, made a fortune, and finally fulfilled his dream of working with Edison. So the big takeaway here is that a vague wish just won't cut it. Your desire has to be crystal clear. Hill actually broke this down into 6 practical steps. This isn't just about vaguely wanting more money. No, this is a method for making your goals so specific, so planned out, that you basically program your own mind to believe it's already a done deal. Okay, so a burning desire gets you started. But what happens when you slam into a brick wall? For that, Hill shares this powerful cautionary tale he calls 3 Feet from Gold. This story is about a man named R.U. Darby. During the gold rush, he and his uncle got gold fever, went west, staked a claim, and started digging. Their desire for gold was definitely there. And you know what? After weeks of back-breaking labor, they hit the jackpot. The first bit of ore proved they had one of the richest mines in Colorado. They were on top of the world. But then, just like that, poof, the gold vein vanished. So they kept digging and found nothing. They were just completely beaten down by what they saw as total failure. So they finally quit. They sold all their machinery to a local junk man for a few $100 and took the train home, defeated. But hold on, the story doesn't end there. See, the junk man wasn't a miner, but he was a smart guy. He hired a mining engineer to take a look at the mine. The engineer knew about these things called fault lines and figured out that the original vein would probably reappear, wait for it, just 3 feet from where the Darbys had stopped digging. And he was right. The junk man went on to take millions of dollars out of that mine. Darby learned a lesson that day that he never, ever forgot. Success is so often just one more step beyond the point where everything feels hopeless. The real key is persistence, especially when you're facing what only seems like failure. Okay, so we've got burning desire.
We've got persistence, but what about that secret Andrew Carnegie sent Hill to find in the first place? This is where all the pieces of the puzzle come together.
Now, this is where Hill gets a little bit mysterious, and it's on purpose. He claims the secret is mentioned over 100 times in the book, but he never comes right out and says, here's the secret. He wanted you to have a personal aha moment, not just hand you a magic word.
A huge piece of this secret is a principle he called autosuggestion. Sounds complicated, but it's actually pretty simple. It's the act of feeding your subconscious mind the same positive, emotional thoughts over and over again. It's the why behind that sixth step, reading your goal out loud until your subconscious mind has no choice but to accept it as real.
And this is the secret. It's not one single thing. It's how all these pieces fit together. You start with that burning desire, you back it up with unshakable faith, you build that faith through constant autosuggestion, and you protect the whole thing with unwavering persistence. When you put them all together, they create a mindset that just pulls success toward you.
Hill was convinced this formula was universal, that it could work for anyone willing to actually use it. The secret, he says, only reveals itself to those who are truly searching, which leads to the final and most important question, are you?